Good evening. I'm Dinah Davenport. And on tonight's episode of Almost Famous-ish, we'll dive into a story that involves dance music, Atlanta nightlife, bass-heavy regional warfare, and one female rapper who briefly convinced an entire city that she was the culture. This story is about ladies of the baseline, a group and its leader that created a music beef that was so bad that it became as extreme as the East Coast and West Coast beef of the mid 1990s. And unfortunately, many people took this very seriously. Tonight, we will see the battles of the basslines, the booties, and the oops.
Cut!
Thank you.
Oh, come on, guys, we've got one shot at this.
Warning, everything you are about to see is fictional. The artists are fictional, the songs are fictional, the interviews are fictional, the record labels are fictional, the people are fictional, the drama is fictional. In fact, if you pause this documentary to argue with somebody online about whether any of this really happened, please know that person is laughing at you. This is a mockumentary, a fake documentary, a made-up story, a very committed lie. Everything in this documentary is fictional and created for entertainment purposes. If you still get fooled after this disclaimer, that's between you and the Lord. Enjoy the show. Now let's begin.
We're ladies of the baseline. Welcome to ATL. Attention, ladies! Grab your homegirls! We outside tonight! ATL, where y'all at?
They were loud, they were beautiful, and for one unforgettable summer, they were everywhere. From Freaknik to skating rinks, from car stereos to crowded dance floors, Ladies of the Bassline became the soundtrack of Atlanta. But success has a way of changing people. And before long, Atlanta's hottest girl group would find themselves at the center of one of the city's most infamous music rivalries. This is the story of Ladies of the Bassline. By the early 1990s, Atlanta had become one of the fastest growing music cities in America. Before the city became globally associated with chart-topping rappers and billion-dollar labels, Atlanta's underground music scene was powered largely by skating rinks, bass competitions, parking lot parties, car audio culture, and Freaknik. Every spring, thousands of college students flooded Atlanta for the now legendary Street Festival, transforming the city into a chaotic mixture of music, traffic, dancing, heat, and complete public disorder. During this period, local bass music exploded across the South. Songs with heavy drums, dance chants, and call and response hooks became unavoidable throughout. Clubs, college campuses, cookouts, and car systems powerful enough to physically rattle apartment windows. And according to many longtime Atlanta residents, people treated local music groups less like entertainers and more like neighborhood alliances. One former DJ later explained, "You wasn't just listening to groups back then, you was representing them." In 1995, one female group would unexpectedly become the face of Atlanta party culture almost overnight. Their name was Ladies of the Bassline. Originally formed by producer Marcus Big Bass Wilburn, the group consisted of 4 women: Shatia Wilkins, Amber Rogers, Lakeisha Jameson, and Tasha Reed. These women were from different parts of Atlanta and were recruited largely for their around-the-way girl personalities, dancing, crowd energy, and ability to command attention during live performances. In early 1995, they signed with Wreckin' Style Records and quickly began working on what would be their debut album, Welcome to ATL. And because the girls already came in with great style, talent, and personality, it didn't take much to train them or market them. They were already it. Basically, the summer of '95 was approaching, and the ladies of the Bassline were ready to take over the country, primarily the South, and they did just that. The group's breakout single, Calling All Ladies, quickly became one of the biggest local party records in Atlanta. The song dominated Freaknik skating rinks, house parties, radio countdowns, and eventually spread throughout parts of Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Suddenly, ladies of the Bassline were everywhere. Fans were sporting their hairstyles, mimicking their clothing, and doing their catchy dances. They were an immediate hit, but according to many people involved in Atlanta nightlife during the mid-1990s, there was one member audiences seemed unable to ignore: Tasha Reed. Known for her loud performances, aggressive confidence, and repeatedly referring to herself in third person during interviews, Tasha seemed like the main star. And although Amber was originally set up to be the lead singer of the group, Tasha's bright, aggressive personality, as well as her distinctive style, overshadowed her and pretty much everyone involved. Tasha quickly became the unofficial face of the group and the permanent lead singer. One club promoter later recalled, "The crowd would scream for Tasha before the song even started." As the group's popularity increased, so did internal tensions. Several former associates claimed Tasha began behaving less like a group member and more like someone who was already preparing to leave, and the group had just got there.
Yes, I'm Tasha, and yes, I'm the culture. I'm Tasha. I am ATL. I am the culture.
According to rumors, arguments reportedly broke out over stage placement, solo lines, poster sizes, and one infamous dispute involving who deserved the main fan during a Wind Machine photo shoot. By mid-1996, the situation had completely collapsed. Depending on who tells the story, Tasha either quit the group, was removed from the group, or emotionally separated herself from the group while still physically attending rehearsals. But either way, less than a year after their debut, she was gone. But she didn't fade from the public at all. Almost immediately, Tasha shocked Atlanta by debuting a brand new look as well as a brand new female rap group called the '95 South Divas. And with them came the song that would permanently divide Atlanta nightlife, Rumble, Rumble.
When I hit the floor, whole club shaking like never before. Left cheek, right cheek, make it tumble. Bass too hard, make the speakers grumble. Rumble, rumble, don't lose control. Back it up, baby, let the rhythm roll. Round and round, make the whole room stumble. When the beat drop, low we go. Rumble, rumble.
The record exploded immediately, unlike Calling All Ladies, which felt playful and celebratory. Rumble Rumble was louder, more aggressive, and built around heavy bass lines designed specifically for parking lot speakers, dance battles, and the freakiest of Freaknik crowds. While previous fans of Ladies of the Bassline were still dealing with the whiplash of Tasha's departure, they sported Ladies of the Bassline Loves Tasha t-shirts in hopes that she'd return to the group, while fans of Tasha and the '95 South Divas began sporting the bleach blonde hair and long red acrylic fingernails to match the group, cementing their alliance with them. Almost overnight, Atlanta became culturally divided. Like the intense East Coast-West Coast beef that was also happening at the same time, it seemed like that same intensity had leaked down south. Women began openly arguing over who's better, ladies of the Bassline versus 95 South Divas, and the rivalry quickly escalated far beyond music. Clubs reportedly picked sides, DJs refused to play both groups in the same set, and local radio stations hosted nightly call-in arguments between fans. One former Atlanta resident later said, "It got ridiculous. My aunt stopped speaking to my cousin for 2 weeks over her not liking Tasha. The situation became so intense that local newspapers eventually nicknamed the conflict the Bassline Split. According to several former promoters, fights allegedly broke out at skating rinks, college parties, beauty salons, family reunions, and one seafood restaurant after two women argued over whether Rumble Rumble had more cultural impact than calling all ladies. Blonde weaves and airbrush t-shirts flung everywhere. Even Atlanta radio personalities began treating the rivalry with alarming seriousness. One late-night host famously declared, "You either with the ladies, or you with Tasha and the South Divas. There's no middle ground." As tensions grew, Tasha herself appeared to enjoy the chaos completely. By 1997, she was reportedly arriving to clubs with security, wearing full-length fur coats in summer weather, and referring to herself as the Queen of Bass. Meanwhile, ladies of the Bassline publicly accused Tasha of abandoning the group, stealing choreography, and acting like she invented Atlanta, with Tasha responding to her previous group saying, "Yup, I am Atlanta, Shoal is." At the height of the rivalry, one nightclub allegedly banned silver glitter shorts because they had become associated with 95 South Divas fans. Another venue reportedly separated dance contests entirely to prevent arguments between supporters of both groups. Eventually, the entire movement would begin collapsing under its own absurdity. In late 1997, however, 95 South Divas released what would become both their biggest and final hit, the Backseat Anthem.
Freaknik, baby, this the backseat anthem. Window steaming, body scheming, Freaknik, baby, this the backseat anthem.
The record performed well throughout Atlanta and parts of the South, briefly convincing many that Tasha had successfully escaped the shadow of ladies of the Bassline once and for all. But unfortunately, history had a habit of repeating itself. According to several former associates, many of the same problems that had fractured ladies of the Bassline soon appeared inside 95 South Divas. Arguments reportedly erupted over interviews, magazine features, solo appearances, who received the most attention during performances, and who'd get the dopest hairstyles. And of course, it was always Tasha. One former member later claimed, "Every conversation became about Tasha. Nobody gave a damn about the rest of us, and we were just as fly and talented. We ain't get a chance." As tensions increased, relationships within the group reportedly deteriorated. And just as she had done before, Tasha allegedly dismissed their criticism as jealousy. But by the end of 1997, 95 South Divas had effectively collapsed. For the second time in less than 3 years, a successful group fronted by Tasha Reed had fallen apart. Convinced she no longer needed a group at all, Tasha announced plans for a solo career. She immediately began working on what would have been her debut solo album, I Am the Culture. But unfortunately for Tasha, Atlanta was changing. By 1998, Freaknik culture was fading, bass music was declining, local music trends evolved, and Atlanta's sound began moving toward a different era entirely. And for the first time in her career, Tasha Reed couldn't blame a group for what happened next. Her solo project failed to gain traction. The anticipation was no longer there. The audience had moved on, and with it, so had the era that made her famous. Her solo album was shelved, and Reconcile Records dropped her, as well as 95 South Divas and Ladies of the Bassline from their roster. It was over for all of them. With no more hits being made, both groups slowly faded from mainstream attention. But surprisingly, unlike most music rivalries, the Bassline Split refused to die. Throughout the 2000s and 2010s, internet message boards, Facebook groups, and eventually social media pages became battlegrounds for aging fans, still arguing over events that had happened nearly 20 years earlier. Former supporters continued debating who betrayed who copied who had the better music, and whether Tasha Reed had actually been bigger than Ladies of the Bassline and 95 South Divas itself. The strangest part, the artists themselves had largely moved on. Amber eventually became a successful real estate broker. Lakeisha operated a dance studio. Shatia spent several years working in radio. Meanwhile, Tasha continued performing nostalgia shows across the South while selling a surprisingly successful line of blonde wigs called Queen of Bass Collection. In 2015, promoters announced what many believed would finally end the rivalry forever. A Ladies of the Bassline and 95 South Divas reunion concert. For the first time in nearly 20 years, both acts agreed to perform on the same stage. Fans celebrated, Atlanta celebrated, local news stations covered it extensively. Finally, everyone was going to move on. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. The concert sold out immediately. But according to multiple attendees, arguments broke out in the crowd before the first song even started. One fan reportedly arrived wearing a shirt that read, "Tasha was the group." Another responded with, "Then why she need 3 other women?" Security was called repeatedly throughout the evening. Several audience members were removed. At one point, organizers allegedly asked fans to stop chanting insults during introductions. The women themselves performed without incident. The crowd, however, absolutely refused. One promoter later stated, "The artists reconciled. The fans never did." Ironically, the reunion only reignited the debate. To this day, videos discussing the Bassline Split continue attracting thousands of comments from people passionately defending one side or the other. In 2017, Tasha was finally asked whether she regretted leaving Ladies of the Bassline. She paused for several seconds before answering, "No, cause at the end of the day, I'm still the culture." Another pause before chuckling to herself. "But I regret reading the comments. Y'all foul, straight up."
Calling All Ladies and Rumble Rumble. Both booty-shaking songs that were supposed to be for fun, but nearly cost people their lives, their relationships, and for some, their sanity. Who knew that all it took to make one an enemy was a banging ass anthem? Truly disturbing times indeed. Now, we'll leave you with the songs that divided an entire city. Get ready to shake what your mama gave you. Thank you and good night.
Attention, ladies! Grab your homegirls! We outside tonight! ATL, where y'all at? Rumble, rumble, when I hit the floor. Whole club shaking like never before. Left cheek, right cheek, make it tumble. Bass too hard, make the speakers grumble. Rumble, rumble, don't lose control. Back it up, baby, let the rhythm roll. Round and round, make the whole room stumble. When the beat drop low, we go rumble, rumble. Girls in the line and we deep tonight. Fresh lip gloss and the jeans too tight. Hair laid down and the vibe on 10. Everybody outside with their cousins and friends. Candy paint drip while the subs go boom. Whole parking lot turn into a dance room. DJ cut the lights, let the red glow flash. Booty so hard, make the back wall crack. Drop low, bring it up. Drop low, bring it up. Bass hit hard, make the whole block jump. Rumble, rumble, when I hit the floor. Whole club shaking like never before. Left cheek, right cheek, make it tumble. Bass too hard, make the speakers grumble. Rumble, rumble, don't lose control. Back it up, baby, let the rhythm roll.